Hey, Run Junkies, welcome back to Vlogtober. Today I have my very good friend, Laura Bowers from Joyful Miles.
Hey,
Welcome. I'm glad you're back.
it's good to be back.
You know, I'm doing Vlogtober by myself this year.
Yes, you are.
I'm just...
Because one of us is crazy. One of us is crazy and one of us is not.
One of us is not.
I know you told me you were doing it. I'm like, oh, girl. Good
I was
for you.
on the fence. I was on the fence for a long time, but then I just kept getting some great requests for videos, and I thought, yeah, I could do that. I could just do a whole bunch of these fun videos in the middle of Vlogtober. So
Well, I'm with you. I'm with you in spirit.
I'm not really sure what to say to that. So
It means I'm supporting you from the comfort of my home, not in front of a camera.
Right, exactly. So the reason I wanted to have a conversation with you today was not because, you know, I want to give you flack for not doing Vlogtober with me, although that will come later. I'm kidding. That we signed up way back in January
Oh boy,
for this crazy idea called Run the Year 2018 miles in 2018.
Yes,
Okay.
that was me. I sent you the email and I'm like, hey, you want to do this?
I wasn't going to point fingers.
I feel so bad. But anyway,
I wasn't going to point fingers.
it's okay. Big shoulders. It was all this gal here.
But here we are.
Like 2 thumbs and hold yourself accountable. This gal.
See, here's the funny thing about this is that you go into this kind of thing, and this is the conversation that I want to have today is that we set some big goals. 2,000 miles between the two of us,
yes,
is a lot. That's over 1,000 miles for each of us on average. And I think it's like, it's a motivator, and I love how it's a motivator. So tell me, like, you heard about this.
Yeah.
But what on earth made you want to sign us up for this?
Well, I heard about it in January 2016.
Okay.
And I signed up with my friend Jenny, who's like this ultra marathoner. She's fantastic. And we had just done Dopey 2016. Okay. So when you start off the year doing the Dopey challenge, you're like, hey, piece of cake, I'll just keep it up. Yeah. And we were successful. We each did our required number of miles. She was ahead of me, but that's okay. I came in at the end and did it. And it really was a great feeling. So 2017, I skipped, which was good because that was the year that I was dealing with my injury.
Yeah.
Most of the year. So I wanted to do it as a celebration for, recovering and to be able to run again. And that was, I knew there are people doing it solo. Kevin Bull is one of them, and good for you. I think it's amazing. No, I would need a partner.
Yeah,
definitely. And we can bring in a third partner, by the way, because you can have a group up to 3 people.
Yeah. Well, it's up to 4 too. It's like if
it's up to 4.
If we're hurting a lot for mileage, we could just find somebody else to because it's retroactive, right? Yes. I mean, if they drop in today, everything since January 1st counts. So let's find somebody who's run a couple marathons this year.
Yeah, so it seemed like something that you and I could do together. And in my head, I imagine it where, we communicate, we chat, we encourage, we motivate. And we started off good. I did Dopey, and then I did Princess. And I'm sure I'm going to lead into you here, and then I'll get into my runner burnout story.
Yeah. So you had Dopey. We both had Dopey. You had Princess. Yeah. You went down for Star Wars at the last minute.
Yes.
And then I had my spring, summer, early fall. I think I did the math on it. I want to say I've done 7 races in 4 months. Oh, that is more than I do taking out Run Disney. That is more than I do really in a single year. It was a lot for me. So I'm still doing the mileage, and my personal, here's the funny thing too, is that they already sent us the medals. It's like, this is where
Hanging on my
yours
thing.
is over there. I have not taken mine out of the plastic yet.
Oh, you're good. I should have
I
done that.
Well, and I think this kind of goes back to what motivates us, and why I thought this would be fun as well is, you know what, I'm already, last year I think I counted it, and I did 1,100 miles or something like that last year, which was huge. I was actually really surprised to
Yeah,
see
you did
that
a
big
lot.
number. But then I said, okay, well, what if I just make a goal to run on average 100 miles a month, 1,200 miles in this year? It's not that much more than last year. With all the races I'm doing, I'm pretty sure that's a doable goal. So, like, I feel I earn that medal when I hit that goal. So, whether or not it becomes a team effort, it's like, well, are you actually going out and doing it? Right.
Mhm.
And I think, and I love that you had so many races, but then to flip it back around, you made some very personal decisions around social media and your writing that
Yes.
I completely admired.
Yes. I can't quite put my finger on when, because you're right. We did an episode on this on the podcast, and the first one I did, I was very negative, and we actually scrapped that and retaped it. So I don't want to get negative. That's my biggest goal today. I want to keep this positive, but I did a bunch of races, and I think I just loaded up too much on races. And I'm not a person who can go out every weekend and do a race. It's,
Mhm.
sometimes it becomes a stressor for me. We had some personal issues that we're not going to get into because everyone has we all have
Right.
storms. I
Right.
just had them hitting at all different directions.
Mhm.
So that's all I have to say about that. And I also became questioning, I also started to question whether or not this was a goal that truly was going to bring me happiness and joy. And what is the one thing that I could do, and one thing that I could accomplish that would not only affect me for this year, but 5 years from now. I have a 5-year policy. Whenever I have a major, I got it from my husband. Whenever we have a major decision in life, we always, look at how is this going to affect us 5 years from now, and
Interesting.
what it's going to be the benefit 5 years from now if I make this choice rather than that choice. And the one thing that I had really been lacking, that I had gotten away from in my life, is writing. Um, I've published a couple books. They're older. And I kind of went through, anyone who's ever tried to write or create something knows that you're constantly haunted by mental demons, fear, doubt, procrastination, laziness. I could go on and on. Mine were winning. So that is the easiest way to describe why I fell out of writing, just because my mental demons won. And I started Joyful Miles with the intention, like, you know what, maybe I don't need to be a writer. Maybe I don't want to be a writer. Maybe I don't want to do it. Maybe it's just too much stress. And I'm going to start Joyful Miles, and we're going to write and do this and do videos. And that's my true calling. And it is. I want to be careful. I love
Right.
Joyful Miles. I really want to be careful to stress it. It has been something that has enriched my life greatly. I've
Mhm.
met Jen. I mean, we've met incredible, both you and I, we've met incredible, incredible people that I
Amazing.
cherish.
Yeah.
But I still had in the back of my mind writing, that voice was still in the back of my mind. And, I went through a really bad running burnout, and I was like, I need to get back in writing.
Mhm.
And I know I'm rambling, sorry.
No, please. No, please. This is why I wanted to have this conversation. It's like,
Right. And I'm also the type of person who I load up on too many goals. I expect too much. I'm unrealistic. And when I don't make these goals, I'm very hard on myself. I'm a failure. I have lost once again. So at the beginning of the year, I loaded up on all of these different goals for different categories of my life. And it became overwhelming. And I don't know about you, but once you start to fail, like, for example, the run the year, once my numbers got too low, it felt like, I might as well quit because I cannot catch up. And that's one reason why I'm not a big fan for myself of run streaks. You
yeah.
have to run every single day. As soon as you miss a day, what happens? I'm done. I might as well quit. I failed. And that's where I got to be with Run of the Year. I just felt like I was, even though I did Dopey, I felt like I was so far behind. I'm calculating how many miles I would have to do every single day to catch this goal.
Yeah.
And the more overwhelmed I got, with it, the more miles I lost, and it just added up and added up. And then finally I just got to the point where I'm like, Heather, I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry, but I don't think I'm going to make this goal. And that's where I'm at now. I'm just starting now to get over my running burnout. I'm starting to love running again,
Yeah.
but tick, tick, tick.
Yeah. Yeah. We're sitting here. We're actually recording this on September 27th.
Yes.
So just so you know the perspective that is happening once this goes up for October. But yeah, and it's like there, and this is the thing that I always worry about with people, us included, but outside,
Mm-hmm.
that when you set these goals, it's like you have instantly, and it's one of the, taking a tangent off of this, all of these mental training sessions that I've been doing, and the idea that I have not even begun to tap into some of the mental challenges around my running, that we have. All of a sudden we say, okay, we're going to run 2018 miles this year. Wow, that goal is now out in the ether. Not only that, between the two of us, but we have 2 YouTube channels and a couple of really big Facebook groups. So it's like,
Yes.
it's not even just between the two of us. There are a lot of people out there. And I know I personally, I'm not going to speak to you about this, but I feel accountable regarding that goal. And if I'm not hitting it, then not only am I letting myself down, I'm letting you down. I'm letting the people who are following me down.
Yeah.
Totally ridiculous, right? I mean, this is not what this is for. This is
No.
not the point of this.
No, we've had this conversation before many times, and I totally get why you're saying that, because
Yeah.
you do feel this responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But, I know for myself, I made the decision a long time ago that, Joyful Miles is something that, I hope to inspire others, but at the core, it's supposed to be something that enriches my life too.
Yeah.
And the second that it becomes a stressor, the second it becomes not fun, then I need to take a step back and say, wait a second, this is my life and I don't want to miss it because I'm feeling this obligation. And, I hope that that's not coming off bad. I really do, because I love our viewers. But at the same time, if they were in a situation where they were feeling stressed about something, I would say to them, wait a second, okay, you need to make yourself happy first. And that's what I would hope that viewers would want for me as well.
Yeah.
So I did have to take a major step back from videos. I don't even want to count up how many race recaps I'm behind. My goal is to have at least Princess done by Wine and Dine. That is my goal. So yeah, I did have to take a step back and kind of reconnect with myself, get back into writing. Now I'm happy to report I have finished 1.5 novels since then. They're total
Congratulations. That's great.
They're total messes. I mean, oh my gosh, the amount of editing I need is just unbelievable. But, it's been nice to kind of get back into my head because, I'm an introvert in some respects.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do get the second that you put a goal out there and say, this is what I want to do. And then you fail. Not only do you feel guilty, do I feel guilty for myself in failing, I feel like, what type of inspiration am I being to others if I can't even accomplish this? But at the same time, I want people to know and constantly evaluate. Just because you make a goal, January 1st, if it is not working out, if it is not aligned with what will truly make you happiness and bring you the most joy in life, it is okay to say, all right, I'm changing things up. New plan.
Yes.
So here, I'm getting rambly. I'm so sorry, Heather.
No, because you said something interesting, and you've said it a few times now, and it's like that failure, this is a failure, but it's not a failure. It's like we use this word, and I've talked to, a couple of folks training for one thing or another, and it's like, no, you're not failing. You are finding a way not to do it. And like like you were saying, we made this goal way back in January after we're riding a high off of Dopey. We had the most amazing time. We met the most amazing people. Here we are. Frankly, I think you missed me. You know,
I
you
did. I
just,
cried.
you needed a reason to, interact with me on a regular basis, just like, I'm just, oh my gosh, sorry.
Crazy girl.
So
Not enough to do Vlogtober though.
I know, not enough to do Vlogtober.
Oh my God, girl.
Just saying. No, I I think this comes back to the reality stacked up against the expectation, right? Because even now, going back to that 100 miles a month on average that I was doing, yes, right now I'm ahead of that goal. However, I got myself overtrained to do that because I hit, gosh, when did I discover this? It would have been July, August. It was after the Slacker half marathon. My ankles are killing me. I'm sore all the time. I'm not sleeping well. I'm doing a poor job of just recovery in general. So I was out there walking every day. It was the steps goal. I had a personal steps goal of meeting my Garmin step totals every single day. I got to 50 days. And my coach, she called me out. Christine called me out and she's like, you've got to stop. She's like, you need to she literally said, screw the steps goals. And I'm like, but no.
But
10 more days and I get that virtual Garmin badge. I mean, how stupid is that? Okay. What are we doing? It's the reality versus the expectation. And what are we really doing this for? If we can't remember the why, or if the why no longer applies, then we need to reevaluate our goals.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's where we both stand on this run the year. I mean, this is a very tangible, goal that we've set for ourselves for this year, right? I mean, it's just one of many, many, many goals that anybody could set for themselves, and you don't have to run 2,000 miles in a year, run or walk. And I think, you come to that point, like, why am I killing myself to do this?
Yeah. Especially because, we have the podcast, we have YouTube, we have the blog, we have this, and this. So yeah. And we, it's Jackie and I do a bulk of all the social media. So keeping up alone, let alone doing new content and rating, which is what I love to write blog posts. That's the thing that I love to do the most, informative or essay type of, relaxed ones. So yeah, it is. Plus I have a full-time job and all other things to worry. But I did think of something, Heather, that I do want to throw out. And when it comes to renegotiating your goals, you also have to be careful that you're not using it as an excuse to procrastinate. And you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I don't want to do this every day. It was a dumb goal anyway. You know what I'm saying? There is that little voice in the back of your head that speaks the inner truth. That says what is really going on, that you are procrastinating or you're denying or you're feeling doubt and fear and you're afraid to take action. And because of that fear of taking action, you're saying, well, this action goal, we're going to chuck it.
Right.
So that is something to be careful about when you're, renegotiating your goals, is to make sure it's coming from a place where, no, this is not going to bring me the most happiness or joy. 5 years from now, it's not going to affect me as much. So yeah. Anyway, I want to throw that out.
No, and I think that's a very good point. Jumping off from that, it's like you can reevaluate your goals without quitting.
Yes.
Right? You can, this isn't about, we're quitting on run the year. We're still going to keep doing what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
It's just a matter of, okay, right. You just, we'll just see what happens at the end of the year. And like I said, my personal goal is to, if I think, like, we had 3 goals, or I personally have 3 goals. So it's 2018 for the 2 of us, right? There's the goal of 1,200 miles on the year. And then there's the goal of, 1,009 on the year. That's my C goal. it's actually kind of a B.5 goal. I don't know, but it's kind of like, I'm going to do the best I can given the circumstances I'm under.
Yes.
And I think you're doing the same thing.
Yes.
You're still, it's not that long ago, you were really struggling with injury. And I would hate to see you push yourself to the point where you're back there.
Yes. Or I'm just
Especially,
so miserable that at the end of the year, okay, I can, wear this medal. I've reached the goal, but at what cost?
right.
You know?
At what
So
cost? Yeah. That's just where we stand up, right? So we had this expectation. We came out of Dopey. We were excited about that. And then life happens, right? And it's funny because I've been visualizing how this idea that running doesn't exist in a vacuum. I say that all the time, but what does that mean? It's like if you have the Venn diagram, right, of running and life, it's like running is not outside of life, right? It is completely within it. So you have life that includes running. It doesn't exist outside of it. You have to take into account everything that you do 24/7, 365, and running is a part of that. And so you can prioritize it as much as you want, but you get the flu, something blows up at work, and all of these things will affect that. And I think that's what happened this year with Run the Year. I personally still think it's a great goal,
it's an amazing goal in the community. There's a Facebook group for
Mm-hmm.
Run the Year. It is incredible. I
Yeah.
think for me, a lot of it too is I became burned out from running, but I was still biking. I was doing a lot of beach body. I was doing a lot of yoga. I needed the yoga, girl, to get my head on straight.
Yeah.
So I have been active. I haven't completely fallen off of exercising. I'm doing 80-day obsession again, and I love that. It's just, I don't know. I tried to pinpoint it when Jack and I talked. I tried to pinpoint why I just did not enjoy running as much. And I honestly, I can't put my finger on it. But like I said, and then I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to fall back in love with running again. I'm not worried about that because running is life. It's just because you might fall out for a couple months. It's okay. It's not going
Yeah.
anywhere. My running shoes are still in my closet waiting for me. And now I'm at the point when I do go for my runs. No, I'm not enjoying them like I used to. But in the meanwhile, I'm still getting my miles in. I'm still training for my upcoming races. I'm still putting in that effort. And things are going to work out. It's okay.
Yes.
In the meanwhile, I'm just going to be happy.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's kind of where I'm at now.
And I think you said something brilliant there that I was going to.
What? I did?
You did.
I'm glad you're recording this because that,
No, it was brilliant. Oh, the burnout, the burnout thing. That's what it was. So talking about burnout and how much of a challenge, I know you and I've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with Gerald. I've had it with a lot of people, many of whom, I don't know if it was a symptom of it, but many of whom were down for Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. And we hit the spring, and many of us just were like, if we kept running, that was great, but we didn't necessarily enjoy it all that much. So, I'm out there doing it. I realized that I don't need to learn how to run. I don't need to learn how to strap my shoes on in the morning and get out and go running. I can do that. I know how to do that. I can any day of the week say, I got to go for a run. Okay, I know how to go do that. What I don't know how to do anymore or really ever learned is how do I make that a mental challenge? How do I challenge myself in this? And it doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be pace-based. There are other things. How can I make this more of a challenge for me? How do I rekindle the love of running? Yeah. And again, I love running. I don't like it all the time.
What is the quote? I'm going to mess up when it comes to rain that relates so much. I don't enjoy writing, but I love having written. That's Same thing with, I don't enjoy running, but I love having run. I don't know. Is that the right term? I'm just a writer. I don't
It's
know.
something like that. Yeah. I don't love it when I'm out there, but when I'm done, I'm glad I did it.
Right.
That
Exactly.
kind of philosophy. And I think there's something to that. To me, I became a runner when I needed that mental break. It was my alone time. It was that thing
Yeah.
gave me peace in a very tumultuous time in my life. Well, now it's like I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I can be done and the rest of my day is ahead of me. And, these are conversations I've had with friends of mine lately. It's, how do you do that? It's like, if I don't, I won't go do it. I'm
Right.
not mentally strong enough to say, okay, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, I better go running.
Right.
No, it's like, oh, it's 10 o'clock, forget it, the day's over.
I'm already showered. I'll take another shower and get
No,
all
it's
messy
like,
again. And
get it.
and it's too hot, or it's too rainy, or it's too this, or it's too that.
Mm-hmm.
I think
And
that's one
that's,
thing, like running. Maybe that's why I became burnt out. Well, first I did too many races,
mm-hmm.
definitely, because I really loaded up my spring way too hard. It just, running did not give me that sense of peace, that sense of serenity, that mental release and recovery that it had before. Other things were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
And I
full
think
centered.
that's once it goes back to what we were saying at the beginning, that if it's no longer, giving you joy,
Yeah.
then that's an indicator that something needs to change. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to go away, but it's a reevaluation point.
Yes.
And so, and I think, to wrap it up here, I think it's important that you guys watching, we're all good. We're fine. Everything's fine. I'm just glad that I get a chance to catch up with Laura and that we get to kind of, here's the thing. Life gets in the way. There
Hmm.
are challenges that we face, and we like putting a smile on a lot of things, but that does not mean we are immune to, the same kinds of things that come up for everybody else. It's like experienced runners have the same issues that novice runners have. They just know what those issues are more readily. We
Hmm.
have this, it's like, no, snooze button is a thing. Okay. It's like, we have a lot of the same challenges. So I think it's important that we can take what the expectation is, acknowledge those expectations, and stack them up against reality. And if we have to reevaluate, we have to
Hmm.
reevaluate. It's not a failure to
No.
evaluate. It
You can
is.
always come back. And I feel for myself too, that I'm starting to come back when it comes to, doing Joyful Miles. Like I've been blogging some more, and, I'm finding that love again too. And it's all, everyone has seasons,
Mhm.
that was a rough season. This is a new season.
Yeah,
You can't sit around and beat yourself up because of a bad season, because they happen. It's a part of life. You learn from it and you move on.
exactly. So as far as run the year, how are we doing? I haven't even looked where
I haven't looked. I have
I'll
miles
put,
I
I'll
need to
put a
enter.
graphic.
I think if I do 50 miles a day, then we'll be good. It's totally doable.
You're
Piece of cake, girl. No, actually, I had on my list to like get caught up with entering before I talk to you, and I
right.
didn't even do that.
Well, here are the stats as of October, the day before that this goes up. So these are the stats as of right now. This is where we stand. Okay, as a team Miles of Awesome, on the Run the Year. If you look that up on Twitter, I think my last
We
tweet.
do have a great name, so I'm
We
just going to
do.
say
Team
that.
Miles of Awesome. We really
So,
do. The other thing, before we completely wrap up here, is that we have Wine and Dine coming up. Run Disney's Wine and Dine is coming up in a few weeks. We are collaborating on a couple of things, not really collaborating, but kind of tag teaming on a couple of things. So what is coming up for you guys on Joyful Miles?
well, we have been consistent with the podcast. That is the one area I love. I love podcasting because, Heather, you don't have to put on
I
makeup.
know. You don't have to worry
We're
about
in
your
our
lighting.
pajamas. It's so much easier. And it's always just nice to chat.
Yes.
So consistent. We have a lot of content planned up for. You're coming on. to discuss Wine and Dine and give us some tips and preview, and looking forward to that chat. I am slowly getting back into vlogging. I'm not going to be at the pace that I was before. It just got to be too much. But I'm hoping to get to a point where I'm putting a video up every other week. So that is my goal. I think it's realistic. I do want to get caught up on the recaps. Oh my gosh. I need to get caught up on recaps before Wine and Dine. I cannot have any more content on my backlog. I just cannot. It's insane. And I'm doing some more like casual chatting type of posts on the blog too. So
good. So that's coming up.
And just continuing to foster a sense of community over on the Joyful Miles Running Club, which probably we're the proudest of. So that is.
I think that, and I will leave a link to that group in the description. I think that is where the tribe of runners really comes together. I have seen some amazing conversations over there, and it's just so fun to see how that group has evolved just in the time that I've been a part of it. So that's been a lot of fun. So the last thing that is coming up, it's not the last thing, of course, never, forever, but we are doing a joint meetup, right? I mean, making sure that's actually still a thing.
That is still a thing, girl.
Cool. So we have Joyful Miles, Rez Runs, Kimberly Esterbrook, and I guess me, Running with Grace. We are meeting on Sunday, November 4th.
Yes.
We don't have a specific time or place yet as of this recording, but here's your graphic. So you're welcome. So that is happening on November 4th, right before the after party for Wine and Dine half marathon weekend. So
what I love about them the most is I get to see you guys too.
I know. It's so funny because we never get to see each other. We're always two ships, which is fine. It's just like, again, life is a thing. So it's hard to get to people. And I think this kind of goes back to this video we have been talking about doing since June.
Yes.
So just a reality check there. It's that life happens, and then all of a sudden you look at your watch or your calendar and you say, oh, look what happened.
Darn.
So just, we're all going to cut ourselves a little bit of slack, but we're definitely
give ourselves grace.
Yes. Lots of grace. So we can find the joy. See what I did there? Yeah. So hopefully we will see you guys in Wine and Dine. And Laura, tell everybody where they can find you in case they are brand new to who you are and what you do.
We are all over. You can find us on iTunes, a Joyful Miles podcast, YouTube under Joyful Miles. The blog is joyfulmiles.com. And we have the underscore in Instagram and Twitter, joyful_miles. I hate it, but it is what it is. So yeah, come check us out.
Yes, I'm leaving all those links in the description below. But that is going to be it for us, you guys. Laura, thanks again for coming by. Send us off a little bit.
Oh.
How do you do that? Do you remember?
Huh? I'm trying to remember our Vlogtober jingle. It's
Vlogtober with Joyful
Miles and Running with Grace. It's Vlogtober. I am sorry for my singing. That was really wrong.
That is totally fine. I may even recycle that trailer.
At least let me warm up next time.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
But thank you, Heather, for having me. Always lovely talking to you.
Absolutely. Joyful Miles tagline. What is it?
Inspiring others to enjoy life 1 mile at a time.
That's the one. All right, guys, that is it for us today. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe, not only here, but over at Joyful Miles as well. That is it. We will see you guys on the next one. Go find your awesome. And until then, happy running.
Take care, everybody. For crazy people like never.
Just me this time.
It's Vlogtober.